Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Chris. I'm dialing in from Johannesburg, South Africa, on today, the 6th of October, 2023. And tonight, we're going to be talking about a topic called goal setting, which I'm going to be linking in together with a concept called the wheel of life. A lot of people might not have heard about it before, what it is. A lot of people might have, and it's a very nice refresher to go through at least once a year, because you can see how you're progressing as you move on in your life. But the topic of goal setting can be very daunting. It can be very overwhelming. A lot of people, when you talk about goal setting, they say, I've done that before, it doesn't work. I've written some stuff down and I've never achieved it. But it goes a little bit more deeper than just kind of making a goal or a wish. You know, when you putting a goal in place, you've got to have intent, and you've got to be doing it with feeling and your emotions, which is so important. So what I'm talking about tonight, goal setting, is something that I'm talking about from experience, because I've done it my whole life. I currently do it right now. If you go downstairs into the bathroom, you must see all the notes on the mirrors with times and dates and exactly what I want to achieve. And the most amazing thing is when you achieve that goal a month or two earlier, guys, what I'm going to share with you tonight works. I've done it throughout my life, and you'll actually be quite shocked at what you can achieve and how real this is. So, like I say, when I'm talking about goal setting, I have done it before. So, how did I get to be sitting here in the seat right here tonight on the 6th of October, 2023? Very quickly, a little bit about myself. I, George, yes.
5th of October. Tomorrow's the 6th.
Oh,
I
fifth,
should
sorry,
know.
fifth. I mean, fifth. Yes, it's your birthday tomorrow. Yes. So today on the 5th of October, how did I get to be sitting here today? Um, in early on in my life, my parents got divorced when I was 9, and I was the eldest of two brothers. So there was three of us, and we had a very difficult life. There was no money. We used to move houses every year. I remember getting evicted as a young child. We ended up on the streets with nowhere to go. So at a very young age, I'd been through the ringer, and I just knew at a very young age just to work really hard and not to go through that. I just started work at a very young age. I started working the moment I was able to at 16 years old. So while I was going to school, I was working in the evenings, and I used to work during the night till 10, 11 o'clock at night, get home, do my homework from 11 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning. It was my school life for 3 years. So I didn't enjoy what most kids enjoyed at school, sports. I didn't do any sports, extramural activities. It was just school and work. And I had to do that because I had to help my mom pay rent. So that I got into the workspace at a very young age. And all I wanted to do was work and make money. And what I did was from there, after school, I worked in a restaurant for a year, very good experience, learning how to deal with people. And then I got a job in the corporate world at the age of 22, and studied marketing. And I was climbing the corporate ladder, as a lot of us do. And so I'm studying marketing, I'm working in marketing, and I became the youngest marketing assistant for the company ever. So everything I did, if I do something, I'm going to do it properly. Otherwise, I don't do it at all. Everybody knows me that way. And in October 1997 was when I was exposed to my first network marketing company. And it was a company that did spray vitamins that you spray in your mouth instead of taking a tablet. And also had a patent. It was new in the country. So at the age of 22, I was ignorance on fire. I just went crazy. They showed me a network marketing structure. And guys, something switched on in my brain. I was like, look at this. This is how the whole world should be working. Guys, I was 22 years old. I still wet behind the ears. But something ignited in me when I saw my very first network marketing structure. And long story short, at a very young age, I built a team of a couple of thousand people Now, we didn't have Zooms like today and PowerPoint presentations. I was old school, guys. I'm talking about flip charts and drawing circles, flip charts, drawing circles, and going to venues, that type of thing. And so I'm going to bring up a slide and I'm going to show you what I looked like at the age of 23 years old. And here we go. Oh, there we go. That was me at the age of 23, 24. There we go, 1997. If you have a look at the picture over here, there's an article of me in the Succeed magazine, how I turned 370 Rand into over 30,000 Rand a month. Guys, in 1997, that was 25 years ago, 26 years ago. Anybody that lives in South Africa and you think about Rand and thousands of Rands, that was a lot of money. And you know what? I was earning a very lot of money at a very young age. And this is the first time I did goal setting. And the funny thing is, I always wanted to get a BMW, bought myself a BMW because I put that on my goal sheet. And if you look at this, okay, it's an old shape. See the front of this car over here. I drew that front of the car in my art class when I was 17 years old. So I'd already put it into my subconscious mind of what I wanted to create, and that's what I wanted to achieve, and that's what I did. So, so long story short, about 2001, the owner of the company, that company passed away, and the kids took over, and they just destroyed the company because they didn't know how the company worked. So what happened was from there, I went into direct sales for just on 12 years. And then after that, a lot of you guys know my story. I have had my own children's toy company for the last 12 years. But guys, for 20 years, I've been wanting to get back into network marketing for over 20 years. But, God said, Chris, you're earning way too much money at a young age, and you're not ready for this type of success. Okay, so you can imagine at that age, earning that type of money, and you kind of start partying, you start drinking a bit too much alcohol. So you can just imagine, right? So there's certain lessons I needed to learn before getting this type of responsibility. But what I find is my life has done a 25-year full circle because you know what? I'm home. I'm home now. And I know that this is what I was put on the earth to do, is to make a difference in people's lives. And the only way you can touch not hundreds, but thousands of people around the globe, is through a network marketing structure. And like I said, I feel like my life's done a full circle. I'm home, and I could not have ordered anything better than what I'm doing right now. And guess what I did, guys? Where I am right now, I wrote this down 3 years ago. I wrote this down 3 years ago that I want to be part of a network marketing company with a unique product. Listen to this, guys, with a unique product with no competition, because that's what I had 25 years prior. I wrote it down 3 years ago. And here we go. This is where, as you guys know, that was a picture of me and Javi and Olga at the This Is It convention last month in Tampa. That's what I'm talking about, writing it down. That's what I did. I wrote it down. And there I was on a stage, and this is just the beginning. And that's talking about ordering what you want. And this is what goal setting is all about. Writing it down and placing your order. So many of you have seen this before. A man without a goal is like a ship without a rudder. You basically, if you don't have a direction of where you want to go, you're just going to get blown around by the wind. So when I talk about be specific, it's very much like going to a restaurant. So if you go to a restaurant and the waiter comes to you and says, "What would you like to eat?" And you turn around and say, "You know what? I actually don't know. Bring me anything that you want on the menu." So there goes the waiter, places the order, and bam, guess what gets put onto your table? A hamburger and chips. And guess what happens? It arrives and you're disappointed. You're like freaking out, going, "Why did you bring me a hamburger? That's not what I wanted." The waiter says, "You weren't specific. If you told me what you wanted, that's what I would have bought for you. I wanted fish and chips, but why didn't you tell the waitress that you wanted fish and chips? Because you just said, bring me anything." And that's how we live our life. we're not specific as to what we want to achieve. We're very happy to say, oh, well, let things just happen. If you have the attitude of saying, you just let things happen, things are going to come into your life and you're going to get disappointed and go, how did this get into my life? It came into your life because you weren't purposeful with what you want to achieve and what you want to pop up and expect in your life. Now, I know in life there's many things that you cannot control. There's things that we're talking about politics. We're talking about weather. We're talking about there's many things in this life you can think about it that we can't control. But there are things that you can control. You can control your beliefs. You can control your attitude. You can control your thoughts. You can control your perspective. You can control how honest you are. You can control who your friends are. You can control what books you read. You can also control how often you exercise. This is a big one. You can control the type of food you eat. You can control how many risks you take. You can control how you interpret situations, how kind you are to others, how kind you are to yourself, how often you say, I love you. And this is also a big one. You can control how often you say thank you. You can control how you express your feelings. You can control whether or not you ask for help. Whether or not you ask for help, that's a biggie. This one for me is the top one. How you can control how often you practice gratitude. Guys, when Lucinda and I, we take our walk, we exercise, we go for a walk every morning for an hour. And you know what we do on a walk? We practice gratitude. We call it our gratitude walk. And we just say how thankful and grateful we are for living the life that we live. You can also control how many times you smile today. You can control the amount of effort you put forth. Number 21, you can control how much you spend or invest your money. You can control how much time you spend worrying, and you can control how often you think about your past. Now, if you think about your past, look at it as you're sitting in a car. I always like to relate to a windscreen that is in front of you and your rearview mirror, which is in front of you. Have you noticed that your windscreen is 95% bigger than your rearview mirror? There's a reason for that. That's why it is in proportion to what it's at. Yes, you're looking forward. You've got the whole windscreen ahead of you. You can't deny your past. You can't put your head in the sand like an ostrich and say, oh, you know, that this didn't happen. Yes, things did happen in your life. But there's a reason why the rearview mirror is only this big, because you glance at it, but you keep focused on the road in front of you. So you can control that as well, how much you think about the future and how much you think about the past. You can also control whether or not you judge other people. 25, you can control whether or not you try again after a setback. Let me tell you something, a setback is a setup for a comeback. The amount of times I've had setbacks, my goodness gracious me, man, I have been knocked down and I have been knocked down and I have been knocked down. Guys, I've got bruises and cuts and scratches and everything all over me. But you know what? I just keep bouncing back. And it's not about how hard you fall. It's about how quickly you bounce back up. Because guess what? Once you've fallen down and you're in a little bit of a hole, the world doesn't care. The world carries on with or without you. And it's up to you to get back up again, dust yourself off, and just keep going and just keep going. Because eventually your ship is going to come in. Your ship will come in if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And lastly, you can control how much you appreciate the things that you have. So what I'm going to do before I get into the wheel of life, I listened to an audio earlier on this morning. So sit back, if you've got the popcorn ready. I just really need to share this amazing clip with you. We've all heard of Jim Rohn. George exposed us to Jim Rohn a couple of months ago, and now I just can't get enough. This man is an absolute genius. And Jim Rohn, in this short 20-minute clip, and I feel like I really want to play this tonight because I think everybody's going to get a lot out of it. And then, guys, don't go away, because afterwards, we're going to be going to the wheel of life. So don't forget, get your pens and paper ready. because we're going to go through a really cool little exercise straight after it. So Jim Rohn, he's going to be talking about the mastering the art of goal setting. So here goes.
You know what they say, setting goals is the key to achieving great things. Having clear and vivid goals that we're passionate about can help us visualize our future and give us the motivation to work towards achieving them. So you've got the philosophical foundation and practical tips to make changes in your life. Now Jim Rohn is going to share his personal approach to setting goals that helped him achieve the changes he wanted in his own life. Exciting stuff. So here's Jim Rohn with his The Art of Goal Setting.
Of all the things that changed my life for the better most quickly, it was learning how to set goals. And mastering this unique process can have a powerful effect on your life too. One morning at breakfast, shortly after I met Mr. Shelf, he asked me if he could see my current list of goals. He said, "Let me see your list of goals, and let's go over them and talk about them. Maybe that's the best way I can help you right now." And I said, "I don't have a list." He said, "Well, is it out in the car or at home somewhere?" I said, "No, sir. I don't have a list anywhere." He said, "Well, young man, that's where we better start." Then he added, "If you don't have a list of your goals, I can guess your bank balance within a few $100s. Which he did, and that got my attention. I said, "You mean that if I had a list of goals, that would change my bank balance?" He said, "Drastically." That day I became a student of how to set goals, and sure enough, when I learned how, my whole life changed. My income, my bank account, my personality, my lifestyle, my accomplishments. So I'd like to share with you the best I have learned and practiced on goal setting. First of all, I'd like to say that we are all affected by 5 factors. The first is environment. The second is events. The third is knowledge. The fourth is results. And the fifth, and often overlooked factor that affects our lives is our view of the future. Our dreams. I won't get into all of these influences here, but let me concentrate on the fifth one, dreams. Of all these 5 influences, make sure your dreams are the greatest influence on your daily decisions and activities. Put another way, make sure that the greatest pull on you is the pull of the future. For your dreams to greatly influence you, for the future to pull you, your future must be well planned. There are 2 ways to face the future. One is with apprehension, the other with anticipation. Guess how many people face the future with apprehension? Why? They don't have it well designed. And without really thinking about it, they have probably bought someone else's view of how to live. You will face the future with anticipation when you have planned a future you can get excited about. When you have designed your future results in advance. In this way, the future will capture your imagination. It will exert an enormous influence on you. And to design your future, you must have goals. Well-defined goals are like a magnet. They pull you in their direction. And the better you have defined them, the better you have described them, the harder you work on them, the stronger they pull. And they pull you through all kinds of difficulties, too. Without goals, it is easy to let life deteriorate to the point where you're just making a living. It is not difficult to get trapped by economic necessity and settle for existence rather than substance. We all have a choice. We can either make a living or design a life. Mr. Shelf said to me, "I don't think your current bank balance is a true indicator of your level of intelligence." I was happy to hear that. He said, "I think you have plenty of talent and ability, and that you're much smarter than your bank balance indicates." And that turned out to be true. I was much smarter. My question to him was, then why isn't my bank balance bigger? And he said, "You don't have enough reasons for accomplishing great things." If you had enough reasons, you could do incredible things. You have enough intelligence, but not enough reasons. That's the key. If you had enough reasons. In my years of study, I've also discovered this. Reasons come first, and answers come second. Life has a strange way of hiding all the answers and disclosing them only to people who have been inspired to look for them, who have reasons to look for them. Put another way, when you know what you want, and you want it badly enough, you will find ways to get it. The answers, the methods, the solutions will become evident to you. Hey, what if you had to be rich? Are there any books and tapes on the subject? The answer is yes. There are plenty of good ones. But if you don't have to be rich, you probably won't read the books or listen to the tapes. What drives us to find the answers is necessity. So work on your reasons first, answer second. Now, what are some of the reasons for doing well? It varies from person to person. I'm sure that if you did a little soul searching, you could come up with a fairly strong list of reasons why you want to accomplish great things. There are personal reasons, sometimes uniquely personal reasons. Some people do well for the recognition. Some do well because of the way it makes them feel. They love the feeling of being a winner. That's one of the best reasons. I have some millionaire friends who keep working 10 to 12 hours a day, making more millions. And it's not because they need the money. It's because of the joy, pleasure, and satisfaction that come to them from being constant winners. To them, money is not their main drive. It's not the money. It's the journey. Once in a while, someone says to me, if I had $1 million, I'd never work another day in my life. Hey, that's probably why the good Lord sees to it that he doesn't get his million. Because he just quit. Family is another reason, or motivator for doing well. Some people do extremely well because of other people. And that's a powerful reason. Sometimes we will do things for someone else that we would not do for ourselves. We are made that way. I met a man who once said to me, Mr. Rohn, to do everything I want to do around the world with my family, I need at least $250,000 a year. I thought, incredible. Could a man's family affect him that much? And the answer is, of course. How fortunate are the people who find themselves greatly affected by someone else. It's powerful. Benevolence, the desire to share, can be a powerful reason for wanting to achieve. Some people do extremely well gathering up resources so they can then be benefactors. When Andrew Carnegie, the great steel magnate, died, his desk was opened, and in one of the desk drawers was found a slip of paper. On that slip of paper, Mr. Carnegie had written his goal for his life, and he wrote it when he was in his 20s. On that slip of paper he had written, I'm going to spend the first half of my life accumulating money. I'm going to spend the last half of my life giving it all away. That's terrific. He was so inspired by that goal that during the first half of his life he accumulated $450 million. And during the last half of his life, he gave it all away. How powerful. What has you turned on? What has you getting up early, hitting it hard all day and staying up late? What has you inspired? Next question. What's got you turned off? When I found the answers to those two questions, my life exploded into change. I finally found out what negative philosophy of life I had allowed to limit me and had me turned off. And I got that cured. Then I found a long enough list of reasons to turn me on. And once the lights went on for me, at age 25, they have never gone out. I've fallen out of the sky a few times, but I've never lost that drive to do something unique with my life. Here's how simple now goal setting is. It's not mysterious. You don't have to anchor, you don't have to focus, you don't have to visualize, none of that stuff. Here's how simple goal setting is. Changed my life. Decide what you want and write it down. I mean, that's how profound this stuff is. Decide what you want and write it down. Make a list. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? What do you want to be? What do you want to have? What do you want to share? What projects would you like to support? What would you like to be known for? What skills would you like to learn? Some extraordinary things you'd like to do, ordinary things you'd like to do, right? Silly little things you'd like to do, very important things you'd like to do. Decide on all that stuff and write it down, write it down, write it down. That's how simple this stuff is. And it's your own private list. If it's really private, you know, on your list, put some stuff in code where nobody can understand it if this list fell into unfriendly hands. Okay. And simple things, whatever. Foolish things, doesn't matter. It's your list. I had a little revenge on my first list. Budget finance, who used to harass me. I got 2 or 3 payments behind. This one guy called incessantly. Said, we're going to come get your car, drag it rear end up down the street in front of your neighbors. Put me down something fierce. When I met Shof, got my life straightened out, one of the first things on one of my lists was budget finance. And when I finally got the money, I needed a little drama in my life. Finally got the money to pay him off. I put it in small bills in a big briefcase. Walked into the budget finance office on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. The guy who harassed me so often, his desk was about 3 back. I opened the door, walked in, right up to his desk, stood right in front of him, never said a word. He said, well, what are you doing here? Didn't say a word. I opened up this briefcase, dumped this pile of money all over his desk. I said, count it. It's all there. I'll never be back. Turned around, walked out, slammed the door. Now that might not be noble, but you got to try it at least one time. Pay off with a little drama. Got to check them off my list. Keep your list with you. I keep my list in my journal so that I can go back. 5 years ago, here was my list. And I'm a little embarrassed. Here's what I thought was so important now. How my philosophy has changed. From 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Here's my old list. Here's my new list. Here's what's valuable to me now. Here's what I want my life to be now. Here's where I want to go, what I want to do, what I want to see. Keep your lists of goals so that it shows your growth, shows your ability to change and grow. Your philosophy grows and expands what's valuable. Setting goals. It doesn't matter how small, foolish it is. Put it on your list. My Japanese friend, Toro Ikeda, put on his first list, a Caucasian gardener. Good morning. Thought that was good. I like that. Have you got this profound thing now on setting goals? Here's how profound it is. Decide what you want and write it down. Get together with your wife, decide. Get together with your kids, decide. Get together with your business colleagues, decide. Write it down, make a list. Okay, that's how easy it is. Now let me give you one more scenario on setting goals. When I started making my first list, Mr. Shof said, Mr. Rohn, looks like we're going to be together for a while. He said, I've got a suggestion for you. He said, I think one of the first goals you ought to set, you're a 25-year-old American male, sure you've made some mistakes, but now you're on the road to better things. You got a family, worth it. Reasons makes the difference. And he said, you've got every reason to do this. He said, why don't you, among all the goals you're going to set, said, why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire? A millionaire. This is America. All the possibilities are available. Why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire? He said, it's got a nice ring to it. Millionaire. Enough zeros to impress your accountant? Millionaire. And he said, here's why. Now I thought, the man does He said, here's why. For what it will make of you to achieve it. And I got one of the greatest classes in one sentence I've ever received in my life. That a goal that'll make you stretch that far. For what it will make of you to achieve it. What a brand new reason for setting goals. What an all-encompassing challenge to have a better vision of the future. What for? To see what it will make of you to achieve it. And here's why. The greatest value in life is not what you get. The greatest value in life is what you become. Major question to ask on the job is not, what am I getting here? That's not the major question. The major question to ask is, what am I becoming here? It's not what you get that makes you valuable, it's what you become that makes you valuable. So Shelf said, set a goal to become a millionaire. For what it will make of you to achieve it. Let me give you the key phrase on setting goals. Set the kind of goals that will make something of you to achieve them. Set the kind of goals that will make something of you to achieve them. Always keep that in mind. What will this make of me? If I set this goal and go for it, not only will I achieve it, but what will it make of me in the process? What a whole new concept on setting goals. Now there's two parts to this, and then we're wrapping up goals. Here's the first part now on this goal setting for what you become. Number one, don't set your goals too low. Interesting, we teach in leadership. Don't join an easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectations are high. Go where the demands are high. Go where the pressure's on to perform, to grow, to change, to develop, to read, to study, to develop skills. I belong to a small group. We do business around the world. You cannot believe the expectations at that level. What we expect of each other in terms of excellence. Far beyond average. Why? So that we can each grow, so that we can receive from the group, we can contribute to the group, something unprecedented. It's called living at the summit. Go where the demands are high, go where the expectations are strong, so that it'll provoke you, push you, urgently, insist that you not remain the same for the next couple of years, the next 5 years, that you'll grow and change. So don't set your goals too low. The guy says, well, I don't need much. Well, then you don't need to become much. Now, here's the last part on setting goals. Don't compromise. Don't sell out. There were some things I went for back in those early years that I paid too big a price for. If I'd have known how much it was going to cost me, I never would have paid, but I didn't know. Don't sell out. Ancient phrase says, count the cost, count the cost, count the cost. An ancient story says, Judas got the money. You say, well, that's a success story. No, no. It's true, 30 pieces of silver in those days was a sizable fortune. You say, well, if a guy's got a fortune, right, that's a success story. No, you don't understand. His name was Judas. Doesn't that ring a bell? Judas. You say, oh yes, Judas, the traitor. That's right, the traitor got the money. Doesn't that change the story? And the answer is, of course, it changes the story. Interestingly enough, after Judas gets the money from becoming a traitor, he's got the money in his hot little hand, and now he's unhappy. Somebody says, well, if you had a fortune, how could you be unhappy? Well, he wasn't unhappy with the money. He was unhappy with himself. Key phrase, the greatest source of unhappiness is self-unhappiness. The greatest source of unhappiness doesn't come from outside. The greatest source of unhappiness comes from inside. And here's where the erosion starts, doing a little less than you could. That's where the beginning little infection of unhappiness starts, doing a little less than you can, not feeling that good about yourself. So don't let that happen. Judas is unhappy. He says, what'll I do? He says, oh, I'll just take the money back. Walked in where he got the money and said, here, take this money. I'm unhappy. They said, heck with you, Judas. We got what we wanted. You got what you wanted. Out. They threw him out with his money. Judas says, well, what'll I do now? He says, oh, clever. Should have thought of this first. I'll just throw the money away. And he proceeded to throw his fortune away. Why would he throw his fortune away? He was so unhappy with himself. And that's not even the end of the scenario. After he threw his fortune away, he couldn't change what he became, a traitor. And now, in total abject frustration, he goes out and hangs his worthless self. Why such a tragic end? Because he was so unhappy with himself. He sold out. He sold out. He paid too big a price. Ancient script sums it all up and said, what if you gained the whole world and it cost you your soul? Too big a price to pay if you got the whole world. Don't sell out. Don't compromise your values. Don't compromise your virtues. Don't compromise your philosophy. Keep. Here's the key word, beware. If Judas could speak back, he'd probably say beware. Two good words from ancient script. One, behold, the positive word. Behold the possibilities, behold the opportunity. Behold the drama, behold the awesomeness, behold the uniqueness. Behold the majesty, behold, behold. What a good word. But here's the other word, beware, beware, beware. Don't sell out.
There we go. I hope you guys enjoyed that clip. I was busy writing notes right through it. And one of the big things I got right in the beginning was touching on your why. You know, people do things and it's different to each person. You know, the person does something in life for one of two reasons, either for the want for gain or pleasure or for the fear of loss. Those are one of the two things that's going to get you to take action and do something, either fear of loss or one for gain. But we're talking about something bigger than yourself, your goals, your why. I'm going to be a little bit personal. I'm going to tell you exactly, here's part of my goals. This is my why. These are my kids. These are my kids. My kids are my life. They moved to the USA 6 years ago, and it was one of the biggest decisions, one of the hardest decisions I made in my entire life. When I signed those papers off to let their mom take them to the USA, I knew it was for a better future. Had I said no, I would have been selfish. I had to make a very selfless decision to allow them to go to the USA. And these pictures that I took was in December 2020. Guys, we all know what happened in December 2020. The world changed. The world changed. My life changed. I just look at these pictures. This is before my life just completely fell apart. This was a very happy moment of mine. Just before that, in November 2019, I got the biggest order of my life from my toy company. And I'd also put my money into an online crypto thing. And I got to the USA and look at what I was doing. My goal was to drive a convertible Mustang. And I did that with the kids. We drove around all over the place, in Florida, in Jacksonville, having an absolute ball. And we're talking about, what you focus on is what you're going to achieve. And it's so funny that in the parking where we stayed, there was another Mustang, exactly the same model, same shape, same everything. What you focus on is what's going to show up in your life. How many times have you decided you want to buy a car and you think to yourself, oh, I want to get I'm going to give an example of a yellow car. Now you think to yourself, yellow, oh my God, there's hardly any yellow cars on the road. Guess what? Start focusing. I want you guys to do it tomorrow. Count how many yellow cars you see on the road tomorrow. And you're going to go, no, this is weird. There couldn't have been so many yellow cars. I've never noticed them before. They were always there. They were always there. It's just because you didn't focus on them. So, see how many yellow cars you see tomorrow. So, very quickly going on that. That's one of the moments where my life totally collapsed on that trip with the kids, and I didn't get to see my kids, guys. I hit rock bottom. I don't know if anybody on this call knows what it feels like to hit rock bottom. I hit complete rock bottom. I was financially wiped off the planet. I went into a little bit of a hole, as you do. Hit complete depression, try to get myself back up, And I didn't have the money to get to the USA to go see my kids. If anybody knows, it's freaking expensive, especially in South Africa, to go to the USA. And all I wanted to do is get to see my kids. And guess what, guys? As you all know, last month, I got to the USA and I got to see my son, which was absolutely amazing. Not seeing his kids in 3 years is not easy, but you see how grown up he is. And I just want to say thank you to George, thank you to LifeWave for me to have the ability to get my life back. LifeWave has given me my life back, and I was able to see my kids and get to the USA, and I can get to see them a lot more. So I'm just in a complete state of absolute gratitude. Right, so I'm going to talk about, okay, guys, you got your pen and paper out. Right, what I want you to do. Okay, so draw a circle. I want you to draw a circle, and then I want you to make a pizza. But we're talking about a 10-slice pizza. So just make a circle, write it down, I'll draw it. So here we go. And then just do this, make a line, another line, another line, another line. There we go. Simple as that. Just make your circle just like that. There we go. Right, now what I want you to do is just write on the top left-hand side, I want you to write money and finance. Money and finance. So on that, it's basically, how are you doing right now financially? Are you earning your income plus another half that you're saving and you getting a 12% increase per year from the company you work for? If that's what's happening, then things are good. But I don't think many people are very happy with their finances right now. Like I said, the world has changed. Everybody is looking at making a bit of extra money. Then I want you to write the next one down. Write down career and growth. Career and growth. Are you happy with what you're achieving right now? Are you growing in your career? Are you advancing in the company that you work for? Are you getting the promotions? Are you getting the raises? All right, next one I want you to write down is health and fitness. Health and fitness. When I talk about health and fitness, I'm not talking about hitting the gym 7 times a week and totally going overboard. I'm talking about doing a little bit of exercise. They say that you should be doing 45 minutes exercise a day to keep your body working properly, your heart function, your sweat, you name it, get the toxins out of your body. 45 minutes a day is what you should be doing. Right, then the next one, I want you to write down fun and recreation. This is a very important part of balance, fun and recreation. But that word recreation, be careful, you can overdo it as well. So we're not talking about, partying till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, having a hangover the next day. When we talk about fun and recreation, we're talking about doing it within moderation. Fun and moderation, that's going out for dinner, rewarding yourself. All right, then the next one, I want you to write down physical environment. How is your physical environment around you? Let me tell you something. When you guys saw that picture that I showed you with my kids, like I said, my life totally collapsed. Straight after that, 6 months later, I went through a divorce, and I went from a 5-bedroom house, and I ended up living in a 1-bedroom flat with my mom. A 1-bedroom flat with my mom. I stayed there for a year. How hard it is staying in a 1-bedroom flat where you can't even swing a cat. I don't know why people be swinging cats, but you know what I mean. What is your physical environment like that you're in right now? Would you like to improve it? Would you like something a bit bigger? Right, next thing I want you to write down is community. How active are you in your community? The people around you, the area that you live. Are you part of a group? Right, next one, I want you to write down family and friends. Are you in contact with your friends? How often you see them? Your family, how often you're in contact with them? Right, next one, I want you to write down partners and love. Now, 3 years ago when I wrote that one, partners and love was right in the middle at 0. And now, thank goodness, I've got Lucinda in my life and it's right there at a 10. So that changes very quickly. This wheel that you're doing right now, guys, changes every year. Every year it changes. Because I looked at my one from 2 years ago. Cool. Looked very different to what I'm going to show you now. Our wheel was very bumpy. All right, next one. I want you to write down growth and learning. Are you reading books? You should be reading at least half an hour to 45 minutes a day. But guess what, guys? If you don't have time to read, and you're driving to work, maybe turn your car into a university on wheels. Listen to the audios. If you don't want to read a book, download the audio, listen to it while you're in the car, use that daytime. And then lastly, spirituality, which is so important. You need to believe in something more than yourself, whatever it is that you believe in. All right, so what I want you to do, now you've got the spokes. All right, have a look at the red line I've put there. You're gonna rate yourself from 1 to 10. So in the middle is 0, right over here in the middle, that is 0. And then that is right at the center of the wheel is where we're looking at 10, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to make like a little circle, right? So there's like 10 little dots there. So you can gauge from the middle right to the end. If you are, say, like a number, let's have a look. There we go. Say career and growth. That looks like about a number 7.5, maybe an 8 to me. So what you do is, now this is for yourself. Don't copy what I'm doing here. This is my wheel. You must do your wheel. So at career and growth, put your circle. Put your circle where you feel you are right now. Health and fitness. Where are you? I've put myself at about a 7. Yes, although I walk, myself and Lucinda, we walk 5 days a week. We walk Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But I still feel I could be doing a little bit more. That's why I've put myself at about a 7, 7.5. Fun and recreation. All right. Why fun and recreation? I put mine down at a 5. You might be doing more, you might be doing less. Because right now I have a goal. I have a goal of what I want to achieve in my life. So that means a little bit less going out and a little bit extra working now. I've got a little bit of catch up that I'm playing. So that means you've got to make certain sacrifices. Physical environment, I've got myself at an 8 there. Very happy where we live. We're sitting in an office upstairs here. We've got our home life downstairs. We work from home, which is absolutely beautiful. Can't put any money on that. Community. Where are you, community? I put a 9 there because I'm busy with a lot of people every day, helping a lot of people. That's part of community. Family and friends. I put that on there sitting at about a 6. The reason being is I've got a goal. I know what I need to achieve. So family and friends, normally friends I would see like every week. I now see them maybe every 3 weeks. So it's not that I've become a hermit and I've become a workaholic. I'm just saying that I'm putting a little bit less time there, but I'm still putting the time there. Otherwise it would be 0. Love and partners, there we go. Right there at a 9. I should actually... Okay, Lucinda just looked at me and said, why not a 10? Sorry, my angel. I'm going to move that. I'll push it right to the end. Okay, sorry, guys. That's not a 9, it's a 10. Oh, I'm in trouble tonight. Okay, that's a 10. Right, growth and learning. I've got myself there at about an 8, 8.5. I don't read during the week. I listen to audios during the week and I read books during the weekend. Spirituality, right up there to 9. I'm getting helped. I'm getting guided. I've got like a million angels looking after me. Let me tell you, keeping me on this planet. But I've got a big job to do. And then money and finance. All right, I'm sitting there at about a 8. If I had to show you what my wheel of life, my little circle looked like. So what I want you to do, guys, is get a pen. It can be the same color pen. I've just done it in red for this exercise. I want you to draw. Remember in school when we used to do join the dots? 1 to 2, and then to 3, and then to 4, and then to 5, and then to 6. You join the dots. I just want you to join the dots. Okie dokie. So right, it's not as round as I would like it to be, right? But let me tell you something. If I had to show you what my wheel of life looked like 2 years ago, my goodness gracious, it was shaped very different to that. So like I say, this is a nice exercise to do every year. So now what I want you to imagine is I want you to take this image. Now you've got it written down, you've got it in front of you. And what I want you to imagine is that that is the shape of your wheel. Now imagine that you've got 4 of those, and you're going to go and take that and you're going to go put it on your car. And you're going to go drive your car tomorrow morning. How is your ride going to be? Is your ride going to be smooth? Or is your ride going to be bumpy? Are you going to be having a bumpy ride? The more balance you have in your life, the more round you can get your wheel of life, the more smoother your journey on this planet is going to be. Take a screenshot of this, take a photo of this. This is really nice to have, nice and colorful. You can actually put it up on the wall just to remind yourself. And like I say, this is something that, wait, George, do that, take a photo. This is something really, really awesome that you can refer to from time to time. So there we go, guys. I hope that everybody got something out of this evening. I've really enjoyed sharing this with everybody. I have shared like really private stuff, but that's what this community is all about, because we belong to a community, and it's all about sharing with each other and sharing our vulnerabilities, and just to let everybody know that I'm human, just like everybody else, because people look at me and go, oh, but you're different, Chris. Yes, I am different. A lot of people call me an alien. Um, I'll actually show everybody this. Here we go. If anybody wants to know, if anybody's seen this, there we go. This is Chris. I've got a little alien tattoo on my arm, a little happy alien. Why have I got an alien on my shoulder here? Because people from a very young age, I was what you call the black sheep, guys. I don't know how many of you on this call right now are the black sheep of the family. I was always the odd one out. Yeah, see Johnny put his hand up. I was the conspiracy theorist. I was the wacko one. Oh, Chris, you're not normal. You're a freaking alien. And a lot of people said, you're not from this planet, you're an alien. So guess what I did a couple of years ago? Put a tattoo of an alien on my shoulder, and I'm proud of it. Yes, I am different. I am very, very different. But you know what? I've got a goal, I've got a dream, I've got passion. And all I want to do, all I've ever wanted to do in my life is make a difference in this world. And I believe that with LifeWave, I've been given my life back. Like I said earlier, LifeWave has given me my life back. I am so beyond grateful. You have no idea. And like I said, every single one of us on this call right now have the ability to make a difference on this planet. And how better to do it than with the product that we have in our hands right now, a product that is changing people's lives mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, on every single level. That's what we're sitting with in our hands right now. And I just feel like it's a sin not to share it. It's a sin not to share it. I feel obligated to. I feel obligated to share this with every single person I know, because phew, I get goosebumps when I'm going to tell this. I listened to a recording last week where a lady who was in a very dark place, and a friend told them about LifeWave and got her patched, and this woman came out of the depression. And you know what? She shared about 2 months later, she said that she'd already written the suicide note. She's already written the suicide note. She was ready to end her life. And guess what? LifeWave crossed her path. And because what the product has done to get this woman out of depression, and is giving this person a life back, that's what we're sitting with right now, guys. You don't know the next person that needs what we have to offer so badly. We don't know. And that's why we can never prejudge, because we don't know what's happening with people around you. You could potentially save another human's life just by sending them a message and saying, hi, how are you doing? And just sharing what we have in our hands right now. So on my side, I just want to say thanks. I hope you guys enjoyed what I shared. I'm going to have the Zoom room open for a couple of minutes. If anybody wants to add on or share with maybe what they got out of tonight, please put your hand up, and I'd love to hear from you guys and hear what you got out of tonight. George?
No, first of all, thank you, Chris. That was brilliant. Thank you. You talked about gratitude in the call yesterday at the end with David Schmidt. They said, what have you got to say really to end this call? And he talked about gratitude, and I'm looking out the window daily saying, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, because like you and like others, my back was against the wall after COVID with my businesses falling apart. Because, yeah, without going into the details. So I was casting about, but there's something. These things are so subtle, they can completely pass you by. If it's like I paid attention to something, and my first thought was, listen, I'm not interested. And my second thought was, oh my goodness, I got to watch a half-hour video. I really don't want to watch another video. You know? So these things are very, very subtle, you know. And so to kind of not miss them. For example, I'm going to give an example. The house that I am here in the mountains. When I was at school, I used to look out the window and I said, I say, as Chris would say, I want to live on a mountain on an island in the sea. And Mallorca, where I live, gorgeous, special spot in the world. But I always said, no, I'm not going to go there. It's full of tourists. Yeah. And then when I went there, I went, well, this place is not so bad. And then my partner, Naomi, she takes a picture of a house and she says, if we ever have a house in the sun, I'd like it to be like that one, in one ear and out the other. So a few months later, the phone rings. Somebody says, do you want a house in Mallorca? I said, no. Where is it? Same breath. No, where is it? If I hadn't said that, where is it? So where is it? The guy said the name of the village. And I said, okay, I'll go look at it. It was the same house you'd taken the picture of, on a mountain, on an island with a view of the sea. Everything that I looked for, like I wanted a gate. And I needed to fill a space, but I wanted a gate which wasn't half and half. I wanted a gate which was 2/3 and 1/3, so you don't always have to own both halves. And I have this in my head, and I'm driving along, and I see such a gate lying in a warehouse. And I go in, I said, what's that gate doing there? They said, oh, a client didn't want it. I got it for like 15,000 pesetas, which was like 75 pounds at the time. So you always design in my mind what I want. If I want to buy a vehicle, I decide exactly which vehicle I want. Really, really very much exactly which vehicle I want. And I'm not in a hurry, but it just turns up. And that's kind of with everything. I'm going to add, sometimes lists can be lists, or I did a collage once in another episode, and I've totally lost it. And when we're tidying up, found that collage, everything on that collage, central heating in the house, the boat that I wanted to have, the motorbike, the trips that I wanted to do, all of those things, they happened, but without actually sort of going, you know, I'm doing this. It kind of, so then you're talking about, I'll just say two more things. When I was a kid, I wrote in my book, and then I lost it, and I wrote some other stuff in it. So I was really, oh my God, where did I put it? I found it later. But live out your daydreams. Live out your daydreams. That for me was really important, because the society I was living in wasn't allowing daydreams. It was forcing you into something that you're like, this is not me. I was, kind of I ended up having rashes because of all that squashing. Okay, and I think I said this in the beginning, but maybe I didn't. Mini goals. I have lots and lots of mini goals. So by having mini goals, you actually see them achieving. A mini goal, for example, just an example, 100 people in my right leg, 100 people in my left leg. That's a mini goal. Bigger goals and so on. I do lots and lots of goals. Maybe that's useful for anybody. And the last one is, so I was having a very tough time at one point. The wall, we live on a terraced mountain, so they're called bancales. They were built by the Arabs in the old days when the Moors were in the island. So that kind of terracing, there's a lot of rocks here, so it uses the rocks and it stabilizes. But this whole wall fell on my neighbor down below. And to repair it, I knew I had to repair it, and I didn't have the money to repair it. And it was like 10,000. In fact, the quote was 10,000. And then they came from the local town hall saying, you've got to repair this wall. I'm going, where is this money going to come from? I don't have this money. I don't have it. And but I'm going, I have to fix this wall. And within, I think about 3 weeks, no more than 5 weeks, I got I was talking to somebody at an event, and he said, can you speak to some other people? And they said, can we hire you to consult with us about what we're doing in our business? And there was my 10,000 to the penny. It all disappeared in the wall, but at least I got it done. I was like, oh gosh, what a great to have this money. Can't do anything with it, just pay for the rocks to be moved. But anyways, yeah, everything that Jim Rohn said, everything that Chris said, and we've all got our styles of doing it. So you may do a list, you may write it down, you may do it with pictures. That doesn't really matter. But the focus is, and the intention is, that's
And
the bit.
emotion. And emotion.
Yeah.
You can bring emotion into it.
Absolutely.
Oh, thanks for that, George. Thank you.
Thank you.
Philia. Pleasure, George. Pleasure. Philia from Utah.
Chris, thank you for this. Thanks for this incredible training. Definitely was something that I personally needed to hear. Goals has been a bad word my entire life, because I just have always tried to set goals and kind of feel like I never achieve them. I really, really like the Wheel of Life, because that gives a different perspective on it. I adore Jim Rohn. I just think he is just an amazing, amazing man. And yes, I think the more emotions we put into our goals, the more we can definitely accomplish it. And for some people, the images, actual pictures and things, when they talk about dream boards, those or anyways, pictures sometimes can be a better than just writing it down. But yes, I really appreciated what you just said and how you've put it out. And I think this was the right thing at this time, because I think as we grow our teams, we all need to have goals. And I just want to share something very quickly. On Tuesday, I had the opportunity to meet with somebody and who is a very intuitive person. And she said, why are we not asking the legions of angels? You know, you mentioned angels that are protecting you, that are helping. Why are we not asking the legions of angels to help us bring those into our path, to help us create those teams that we're looking for, and to actually bring on the people that are ready to receive this? And it's so interesting, because I'm like, okay, well, Jim Rohn was an absolutely phenomenal network marketer, so he needs to be part of my legions of angels. You know, so it's just those kind of things. But I so much appreciated how you've put this, how you've put it into perspective, and kind of given me a different look at looking at goals. So thank you.
Oh, this is my pleasure, Billy. I'm so glad you got out of it. Thank you. I'll tell you guys something that, all right, you want to talk about synchronicity, how everything is meant to happen. Billy, you reminded me of it when you said this is what you're meant to hear tonight. When I was quickly adding that Jim Rohn video and a couple of things on the slide this afternoon, getting ready for tonight, what I did was I made the changes. And then what I did was I pressed save as, so that I could just save today's version, right? And as I did that, it said 5th of October. And I thought, okay, this is weird. This is very, very strange, because I didn't type it in, and I've done many save as's in my life, and it's never put it in. I thought, no, hang on. And I'm looking at this. Guess what, guys? All I had to do was change the 1 to a 3. I presented the Wheel of Life today, 5 years ago, to the day, the 5th of October. All I had to do was change 2021 to 2023. So the 5th of October was written down already. How crazy is that? And that's why when I said, guys, if you look at what my Wheel of Life looked like 2 years ago, at least my wheel's round. Okay, it's a little bit bumpy, but guys, my wheel 2 years ago looked like an oblong. I think my ride would have been very, very bumpy. So yes, it changes all the time. It's a very nice exercise to do every year. Every year. And I do my goal setting, guys, every year. Every year, I review my goal setting. I normally do it around about my birthday time, which is November. So normally the first week in November. I don't, like I told you, I'm different. Most people do their goals and redo everything on the, what do you call it? In the beginning of the year, in January. I don't do those types of things in January. I'd rather do it in November and January. I just fly right through it. If you're doing a New Year's resolution, I do it in October. I don't do it in January. I don't. I'm a salmon. I swim upstream and I do things differently. Guys, anybody else want to put your hand up and comment and maybe share what you've done in the past, what has worked for you? I love what Vilya said, that she's done stuff in the past that has not necessarily worked, because you know what we do? We overcomplicate and we overanalyze. We overanalyze stuff. The most important thing in life with everything we do is keeping it simple. I don't know where we get off with trying to overanalyze everything. Guys, we do it on every level. We do it from goals. We do it with LifeWave, with this, that, how to approach. We overanalyze and we overcomplicate stuff, guys. Just keep everything simple, right down to writing goals down, but put the emotion into it, which is the most important thing.
Chris and I talk about keep it simple like 3 times a week.
At least, George, at least. Yeah. I can see Mark nodding his head there. Mark, would you like to say something? I knew your hand was going. I don't see. I picked it up before he even put his hand up.
That's right. I couldn't. You know, I had to raise my daughters, and I taught them, because I had learned this early back in the 80s. What you think about, you bring about. And I really took that to heart and started thinking about, if I think negative, it seems to show up. So think what you think about, you bring about. And I visualize, I might put something on the refrigerator, like the visual of this is what I want or whatever. But I plant that in the subconscious. And if you do that, but there's a key to manifest. You visualize what you want in the future and follow it right behind that with a feeling of gratitude. And that's the process. You visualize it and go straight to gratitude as if it's already here, thanking God or your higher power. And I've done that a lot in my life. I just wanted to share that. I'm sure lots of you know this principle, but you have to practice it. You visualize and go straight to gratitude and say, thank you, Lord, for this is coming to me, and just let it happen.
Thank you, Mark. Always having the gratitude. Yep. I love, the word gratitude is coming up quite a lot. And like I said, that's what David Schmidt spoke about last night on that beautiful call, is the gratitude. So important. And also what we were talking about Dale Carnegie, talking about the concept of giving. So it's one thing to receive, but guys, there's a very big lesson in giving as well, because money is energy. Money is energy, and money needs to flow. It's got to flow, because if you don't let it flow, guess what? It's going to get blocked. And you need to allow, and like what we're talking about with the patches, the new verbiage that, we're talking about, David Schmidt spoke about it last night. Flow. Everything's got to flow in the body. So we're talking about your body. We're talking about the patches. We're talking about, we can say stem cells on this call. We need to let everything flow. We need to let money flow. And that happens with gratitude, beforehand gratitude. So you've got to give. You want to give as well. That is very, very important. I can see, yeah, Helen put a hand up there. Very important. You've got to give, because when you give, you receive. And let me tell you, it's real, guys. It is real. It is real. When we go on our walks in the morning, there's a lot of people that are sitting on the side of the road here in South Africa that don't have food for the day. There's a lot of we call it beggars. We have a lot in South Africa, and from time to time, I go to the bank and I draw a whole lot of a wad of notes, and we just go and we just hand out money to these people. And let me tell you something: you've just put a meal in that person's tummy for the day, and you see the look in their eyes, that gratitude in their eyes, and wow, nothing, nothing beats that feeling. You see the tears in these people's eyes that somebody just gave them something with no expectation on return. That's the difference, with no expectation that you made a difference in a person's life. Try it. Try it, guys. And like Mark just said, you talk about coming back tenfold. That's the honest truth. Honest truth. And you know what? Um, you know, poor old George has been ripped by a few people before. When George talks about money and people go, oh, money's not important. Don't talk about money. Stop talking about money. Talk about the product here. We don't care about money. Guys, please, let's get real. Money, like Zig Ziglar says, is out there with air. It is important as air. Not that we're materialistic or anything, but guys, money gives you options. Money gives you options. And what you can do with money, you could catch more people. So when people say, I'm only interested in the product, yes, that's fine. But look at the money side, because if you're making that extra bit of money, think about the amount of extra patches you can give away to people to help. So I thought I'd just bring that in, George.
One of the best definitions of having money that I ever, I love it. It allows one to further develop one's eccentricities. Now, you can be eccentric and develop your eccentricities without any money, and I've done that. But when the money's flowing, you can develop your eccentricities even further. Now, the gypsies have a saying, which I always liked: you're not a millionaire until you've spent $1 million. Yeah. And about being an alien, when I was at my school, I was insulted by a guy. He thought he was insulting me. He said, "You look like a gypsy and you live like a gypsy." I said, "Thanks for the compliment," because I wasn't fitting in with that very proper English school. Okay. There's a guy who some of you may or may not have heard called T. Harv Eker, and one of his teachings, and he does these free seminars on that, is about, he calls it the millionaire mindset. And there's 4 kinds of people. There's the spenders, which is what I am. There's the savers. There's the people who have this spiritual attitude and they think money's beneath them. And then there's the people who just don't pay any attention, like they never open the envelopes that come from the bank or the bills or anything. They just leave them on the table. The spenders have to learn to save. The savers have to learn to spend. The others have to. It's a very interesting. It was for me. I went to one of those events in London, and then I went to several others of them because it was an extreme lesson in very developed marketing. Just watching how he did it. And one of the things that he said, and so many people, if you say if you're going to sing them happy birthday, they go, "Oh no, open your arms and let it come to you. Just open your arms and let it come to you." I was on a stage where somebody said it's George's birthday, and 600 people sang, and I was like, "Okay, thank you, Lord." Same with the money stuff. We're all working very. We've all got our different styles, but we got this passion about LifeWave and passion about the patches and passion to help people. And we are doing that. And it's incredible. But at the same time, same with, to see what's happening with, in my case and with Chris's case, I can see these and other people's who are not on this call. The financial anxiety is receding, and the things that we're then able to do is incredible. And again, thank you, Lord, and thank you, David Schmidt. And I'm also very lucky that I'm able to go to Orlando, but it's from LifeWave. So I'm going to the event. I'll tell you about it. And then I'm going to de-virtualize with Mark, who is right there, and he's moved around in the screen. Going to go and visit Mark and get to know each other personally and talk to Tommy. And that's a blessing as well. These things couldn't happen without the magic of LifeWave. So thank you, everybody.
Okay, and I think let's finish off with Helen. Unmute. There we go.
Hi, Chris. So nice
Hey.
to see you all on the call. I'm so sorry I hopped on late. I had another meeting, but I want to thank you for the bit that I heard. You were amazing. I just want to touch on a few things, and I'm not sure if you covered, but it was all the topics you covered were so relevant. And just with goals, I find that when you set them and then you reset them once you've achieved them, you do the mini goals up to the biggest goals. It's just also amazing to detach yourself from the outcome, because we get so upset with ourselves when we don't achieve it, right? And we get so taken aback because we're thinking, oh my goodness, so for example, let's say network marketing, oh my goodness, he said no, and you get despondent and you think, I could have had him to get my goal. So if we just keep going, despite and never deter from the goal unless it's a death or something really serious, how much are we committed to achieving it? What are we actually giving to it? How much are we prepared to sacrifice and commit to what we've set for and aimed for in order to achieve it? Like sometimes your friends go out and you're sitting there studying, or when you're going, oh, I'm missing out. No, because in the long run, you're the one who's going to benefit, right? And then also when we've hit our goals, have we rewarded ourselves? Because that's very important. And we really do need to reward ourselves for every little thing, because then it's a psychosomatic thing, right? You start to feel great about yourself, and then you're excited to carry on. And also when you're giving, like you said, it's not always easy to make money if that's the poverty mentality. But when you do get it and you have to spend it and you have to give it to something, say, for example, you're paying your bills. Are you paying it with, oh my God, I'm giving that money and I could have used it somewhere else? Instead of saying, wow, I actually managed to pay my bills this month. Look at it with a different mindset, as if when it leaves you, you receive it with gratitude and you give it away with gratitude, so that more can come in. So you're opening the channel, right? And I loved what you said there, Chris. Thank you so much. It's just amazing how we transform. And it doesn't matter how small it is, right? It doesn't matter how small the goal is. If you just wake up 20 minutes earlier to be able to exercise, that's still something you've achieved. It's not doesn't have to be a big thing. So every little incremental step makes a big difference. So thank you so much for what you're doing for us. We want to give you all the gratitude for what you're doing, you and George and everyone on the call. They've given up time to be here. So it's amazing. And thank you. And we're looking forward to seeing you do more and bigger and greater things. So we're grateful for you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, my SPD in training. SPD is around the corner. SPD, you doing great things right now. Let me tell you, you're just working on another level. So yeah, watch the magic happen. So
yes, they were great together. Mark and
brilliant. Mark and Helen, yeah.
I thought they'd been doing that for years on end together.
We've got a lot of beautiful people, part of our community. We've got a lot of talent, guys. And I want to start getting everybody to start sharing their talents. We've all got a lot to give and to share with the community, because we learn from each other. We all learn from each other. So, guys, don't forget, Saturday, we've got the normal Zoom, which is 7 o'clock South African time. And then before that, at 6 o'clock, we've got Linda Sanchez. Guys, don't forget, Saturday night, 6:30 South Africa time. Lucinda is doing an interview with Linda Sanchez. It's a ladies' meeting. Guys, welcome as well, but we just got to keep quiet. And then we've got a full lineup this week coming up, guys. We're doing presentations on Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. We're doing 3 presentations, guys. This is what we're doing moving forward. I just realized that we serving you by having more opportunities of more meetings. So what that means is you can invite people to come on a Monday night, on a Tuesday night, and a Wednesday night. So that's 3 opportunities for you to invite your guests. Let us do the presentation for you. Let us do the work for you. And then lastly, we've got Thursday, which I will be presenting what I was meant to present tonight. I'm going to be going through the ins and outs and the nitty-gritty of the binary and explaining to people how the whole comp plan and everything works in a beautiful way that everybody will follow and understand. So from my side, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Vilja. George, thank you so much for everything you do for the community. You are an absolute angel for all of us. So thank you, George. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest. I think George froze. Yeah, George froze. Awesome. Okay, guys. Love you all. See you all on the calls. Bye-bye, guys. Bye.